The spaceport was crowded with tall aliens moving in every direction. Among them ran a human man, breath heavy, heart racing, eyes wide with fear. His name was Daniel, and for weeks he had been chased across planets by alien debt collectors. They were not simple men who wanted money. They were part of a syndicate, a cruel and powerful force that hunted without mercy. Daniel ducked into a narrow alley between metal walls glowing with neon lights. He pressed his back against the cold steel and tried to breathe quietly, but behind him he could already hear the heavy footsteps of his pursuers. Alien voices echoed in the dark, rough and sharp, calling his name like a curse. "There he is, the human. He cannot run far," one growled. Daniel's hands shook. He had no weapon, no plan, only the desperate will to survive. He looked around, searching for any place to hide, and his eyes landed on a strange door. It was slightly open, and inside he could see bright fabric hanging, clothes larger than his body. Without thinking, Daniel slipped inside, pulling the door shut behind him. The room smelled of soap and strange herbs. It was a laundry room full of giant alien garments stacked in piles. He crouched low, heart pounding, and crawled under the biggest pile he could find. The clothes were soft but heavy, like they belonged to someone with enormous strength. He pulled them over himself until only darkness surrounded him. The footsteps came closer, the door creaked, and Daniel froze. He heard the voices again, speaking in their alien tongue. One of them sniffed the air, another growled. "He was here. The scent is fresh." Daniel held his breath, praying they would not hear the sound of his racing heart. Minutes passed like hours, and then at last the steps faded away. Daniel let out a slow, shaky breath, thinking he had escaped. But then a shadow moved, and a voice, low and female, spoke above him. "What are you doing in my laundry, little human?" Daniel's eyes widened. He slowly pushed the clothes aside and looked up. Before him stood a figure taller than any woman he had ever seen. She was muscular, her arms like steel, her eyes bright with a strange glow. Her skin shimmered faintly in the dim light, her hair tied back, giving her a fierce look. Daniel stammered, "Please, do not give me away. They will kill me." The alien girl crossed her arms, tilting her head with amusement. "You humans always do strange things," she said, her voice carrying a mix of mockery and curiosity. "Hiding in my laundry, really? Is that your grand plan?" Daniel swallowed hard, sweat dripping down his temple. "Yes, it is the only place I could find. I had no choice," he whispered. The girl looked at him for a long moment, her sharp eyes studying his face. Then she leaned closer, so close he could see the faint scars across her jaw. "You are lucky I found you first, human. The syndicate does not forgive." Her words sent a chill down his spine. He wanted to stand, but his legs were weak, the fear still gripping him tight. "Will you hand me over?" he asked quietly. She smiled, but it was not cruel. It was strange, like she was testing him. "I should," she said. "There is a big reward for humans who run from their debts, but—" She paused, her eyes glinting with something hidden. "But I think you are more interesting than money." Daniel blinked, confused. "Interesting? What do you mean?" The girl leaned back, tossing one of her heavy shirts onto the pile. "My name is Kara," she said, "and you are about to learn why humans are never safe in this galaxy." Her words cut through the silence like a blade, leaving Daniel trembling. What did she know about humans that even he did not? Outside, the sound of boots echoed again. The collectors had not gone far. Kara turned her head sharply, then back to Daniel. "If you stay here, they will find you. If you follow me, maybe you will live." Daniel hesitated, torn between fear of her and fear of the hunters outside. But when Kara extended her massive hand toward him, something in her eyes told him she was not his enemy. Reluctantly, he took her hand, and she pulled him up with ease. Her strength was overwhelming, yet her grip was careful, almost gentle. Kara smirked again. "Strange human, hiding in laundry, but maybe fate has brought you to me." Daniel felt his chest tighten with both dread and hope. He had no idea what fate awaited him, but one thing was certain. His secret and the secret of all humanity was about to be tested in the darkest corners of the galaxy. Kara led Daniel through a narrow tunnel hidden behind the laundry room wall. The air smelled damp and metallic. The lights flickered as if the place had not been used for years. Daniel stumbled as he tried to keep up with her long strides, his voice shaking. "Where are you taking me?" he asked. Kara did not look back, her tone sharp. Somewhere safer than your foolish hiding place, but not safe forever. They entered a chamber with stone floors and strange glowing symbols scratched on the walls. Daniel stared, confusion filling his mind. What is this place? Kara stopped, finally turning to him, her golden eyes burning in the half-dark. This is an old storage bunker, forgotten by the syndicate. Here you can breathe for a moment, but you cannot rest. Daniel sat against the wall, his legs weak. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me. Kara crouched in front of him, her powerful frame casting a shadow over his body. I know enough, she said. The syndicate does not hunt humans for money alone. There is something inside you that they want, something your kind does not even realize. Daniel blinked, his heart pounding harder. What do you mean? Kara leaned closer, her voice dropping low. Your blood, human, it carries a power that no alien wants to admit. It is why the galaxy fears your species even when they laugh at you. It is why your kind is kept at the edges of space, always poor, always weak, because if the truth spreads, everything will change. Daniel shook his head, his voice cracking. I'm just one man. I'm no soldier, no hero. I'm just... You are human, Kara cut him off, her tone fierce, and that is enough. The silence grew heavy, broken only by the faint hum of the bunker walls. Daniel pressed his palms to his face, the weight of her words crashing down on him. But why me? He whispered. I only ran because of debt. I only wanted to survive. Kara gave a sharp laugh, but there was no joy in it. Survival is the greatest weapon your species has. It is the reason humans outlast wars, famine, planets that should have killed you in days. Your weakness is only on the surface. Beneath it is something the galaxy dreads. Before Daniel could answer, the sound of heavy boots echoed again from above. Kara's eyes narrowed, her ears twitching as she listened. They are here, she hissed. The syndicate has found the trail. They are too many for me to fight openly. Daniel's chest tightened, fear twisting inside him like a blade. What do we do? He whispered. Kara stood tall, her muscles tense, her voice calm, but full of hidden fire. I will deal with them, but you must listen carefully, she said, pulling a small silver device from her belt. She pressed it into Daniel's hand, its surface warm, alive with faint energy. If they capture you, use this. It will not kill them, but it will reveal the truth they fear. It will show you what you carry. Daniel's fingers closed around the device, trembling. What happens if I use it? Kara leaned so close, her breath brushed against his ear. They will know what you are, and once they know, there is no turning back. Before he could answer, the bunker door slammed open with a metallic roar. 5 alien enforcers stormed inside, their armor black, their eyes glowing red. One of them snarled, "The human, give him to us now, Kara, and you will be rewarded beyond measure." Another added with a growl, "Resist, and we will tear this place apart with you inside." Kara rose to her full height, towering like a wall of iron. Her hand reached back, gripping the hilt of a blade strapped across her back. Her voice was steady, mocking even. You think I would trade my honor for scraps from your table? The leader hissed, Then you will die with him. Daniel's breath caught, his eyes darting between Kara and the aliens. He felt the device burn in his palm, pulsing like it was alive. His instincts screamed at him to run, but his body stayed frozen. Kara stepped forward, her blade gleaming. Stay behind me, human, she growled. And remember my words, you are not weak. The enforcers charged, the room shaking with the clash of steel and the crackle of alien weapons. Daniel pressed himself against the wall, heart pounding so hard he thought it would burst. Sparks flew as Kara's blade met their weapons, her strength shaking the air with every strike, but even she could not hold them off forever. There were too many, too fast, too brutal. One alien broke past her, lunging for Daniel. Instinct took over. Daniel raised the silver device without thinking. A blinding wave of light burst out, striking the alien full in the chest. The enforcer screamed, collapsing, his body shaking violently before going still. The other aliens froze, their eyes wide with shock. They turned toward Daniel, their voices trembling. It is true. The human carries it. Kara's lips curved into a fierce smile, even as blood ran down her arm. Now you understand, she said, her eyes flashing. Now the galaxy will remember why it once feared humans. Daniel stood shaking, the device still glowing in his hand, his mind spun with questions, fear, and a new, terrifying truth. He was no longer just a man running from debt, he had become something far greater and far more dangerous. The chamber stank of smoke and fear. The alien enforcers stepped back, their red eyes flickering with confusion. They had seen humans before, but never like this. Never with such raw power bursting from a simple device held in shaking hands. Daniel lowered the silver object slowly, his arm trembling, his mind filled with terror. "What did I just do?" he whispered. Kara stood tall beside him, her blade dripping with dark alien blood, her golden eyes glowing with fierce pride. "You did what humans always do," she said. "You survived." One of the fallen enforcers still twitched on the ground, his armor sparking. The others stared at Daniel as if he were a monster dressed in human skin. One finally hissed, "This is why they keep your kind under control. This is why humans are forbidden from the higher worlds." Daniel's throat tightened. He had never heard such words before. "What are you talking about?" he demanded. But the enforcers turned and fled, their heavy boots pounding against the bunker floor as they vanished into the shadows. The silence that followed was heavy, almost crushing. Daniel's breathing was ragged, his chest rising and falling like he had run 1,000 miles. Kara placed her giant hand on his shoulder, steadying him with surprising gentleness. "They will return with more," she warned. "But now you know the truth. Your blood, your body, your very nature, it is not ordinary." Daniel's voice shook. "You keep saying this, but I do not understand. I am just a man who made mistakes." Kara's face hardened, her scars catching the dim light. "You are a human, and humans are the most dangerous creatures the galaxy has ever known." Her words echoed in the chamber, each syllable burning into Daniel's mind. He shook his head, laughing nervously. "That cannot be true. Humans are weak, small, fragile. Every other species is stronger, faster, smarter." Kara's lips curled into a sharp smile. "And yet no species adapts like yours. No species turns weakness into survival like yours. Your people should have died 1,000 times over, on Earth, on colonies, even in wars. But you never do. You change, you grow, you fight, and the galaxy cannot explain it." Daniel felt the weight of her words pressing down. His entire life, he had been called ordinary, less than ordinary, someone always struggling at the bottom, but now this alien warrior was telling him his species was feared across the stars. It felt like a cruel joke, and yet the device in his hand told him it was real. Kara leaned close, her voice low, almost like a whisper of a secret never meant to be spoken. "Long ago, before your kind spread to the stars, there were wars, battles where one human changed the fate of entire planets. The records are buried, the stories erased. But I have seen fragments. A single human soldier turning hopeless fights into victories. A single human traitor surviving poisons that kill whole species. Your kind was hidden because the galaxy could not risk the truth spreading." Daniel's stomach twisted, fear mixing with something else he did not want to admit. Hope. "But if this is true, then why am I hunted like an animal? Why am I nothing more than prey?" Kara's gaze sharpened, her voice steady. "Because they fear the day when humans stop hiding, the day when your kind remembers what you really are." Before Daniel could answer, a sharp tremor shook the chamber, dust falling from the stone ceiling. Kara's head snapped up, her hand tightening on her blade. "They are not waiting, they have brought reinforcements," she hissed. The sound of machinery echoed through the tunnels, the grinding roar of armored transports. Daniel felt his knees weaken. "There are too many, we cannot fight them all." Kara gave a sharp laugh, her voice cold as steel. "Then we do not fight them here. We show them what they fear most." She pulled a strange shard of metal from her belt, its surface glowing with ancient energy. Daniel frowned. "What is that?" Kara held it up, her eyes burning. "A key. One left from the old wars. It opens a path only your kind can walk. A place even the Syndicate fears." Her words made no sense, but the intensity in her voice made Daniel's skin prickle. "What path? Where?" he asked. Kara's smile was fierce, almost dangerous. To the truth, human. To the place where your secret was born. The walls shook harder now, the roar of alien machines filling the tunnels. Daniel clutched the silver device, feeling its pulse grow stronger with every second. Fear fought against him, but something else began to stir in his chest, something old, something wild. Kiara looked at him, her voice suddenly softer. You can choose, Daniel, hide forever, or walk into the fire and see what you are. His breath caught, his eyes locked on hers. For the first time since his flight began, he felt more than fear. He felt a spark of defiance. Then take me, he said, his voice steady. Show me. Kara grinned, her blade gleaming in the dim light. Good, she said, because the galaxy is about to learn what happens when a human stops running. The tunnels shook as the roar of alien transports grew louder. The walls rattled with each metallic thud, dust falling like rain from the cracked ceiling. Daniel gripped the silver device tightly, its pulse quickening in his hand like a second heartbeat. Kara moved ahead, her body tense, every muscle ready, her golden eyes burning with fire. They hurried down a winding path, their footsteps echoing in the darkness. Daniel's breath was sharp, every step heavier than the last. He wanted to trust Kara, but the fear gnawed at him. Could she really be trusted, or was she leading him into another trap? The thought haunted him, refusing to let go. At the end of the tunnel, a wide iron door waited, half covered in strange glowing symbols. Kara pressed the shard of metal into a hidden slot. The door hissed, gears grinding as it slowly opened. A faint light spilled out, revealing a chamber unlike any Daniel had seen before. The walls shimmered with holograms of battles long past, humans and aliens locked in combat across burning skies. It was a shrine, a place of memory, and Daniel felt a strange pull deep in his bones. What is this? He whispered. Kara's voice was low, almost reverent. This is where truth sleeps, and where lies were born. But before Daniel could step inside, the sound of footsteps echoed again, closer this time, too close. Kara's eyes hardened, her hand gripping her blade. They are here, she hissed. Stay behind me. The door had barely opened when shadows filled the tunnel behind them. The syndicate enforcers stormed in, armor gleaming, weapons aimed, eyes glowing red with hunger. One of them laughed, the sound sharp and cruel. You thought you could hide, human? You thought she could protect you? Daniel's heart sank as their leader stepped forward, his voice deep and cold. Kara, you did well. You brought him exactly where we wanted. Daniel froze, his stomach twisting, the words slamming into him like a blade. He turned slowly to Kara, searching her face, his voice shaking. What does he mean? Kara's expression did not change, her eyes unreadable, her blade still in her hand. The leader sneered. She works for us, human. She always has. She is the one who told us where you were hiding. She is the reason we found you. Daniel's chest tightened, the betrayal like fire burning inside him. All this time, he had trusted her, followed her, believed her words, and now it felt like the floor was falling away beneath his feet. You betrayed me, he whispered, his voice raw. Kara's eyes flickered just for a second with something like pain, but then her face hardened again. The enforcers closed in, their weapons humming with deadly energy. Give us the device, their leader growled. Give us the human, and maybe we will let you live. Daniel's hand tightened around the silver object, its pulse stronger than ever. He wanted to throw it away, to give up, but something inside him whispered no. A voice deep and primal, a voice that did not sound like fear, but like defiance. Kara finally spoke, her tone sharp. Do not listen to them, Daniel. Her voice shook, just slightly, but enough for him to hear it. The leader snarled. She lies to you, she belongs to us, she always has. Daniel's mind spun, torn between rage and confusion. He looked at Kara, his eyes burning. Tell me the truth. Are you with them? For a heartbeat, the chamber fell silent. Kara's golden eyes met his, unblinking, unyielding. Then she whispered, I was once, but not anymore. Before Daniel could react, she lunged forward, her blade flashing, cutting down the nearest enforcer in a single brutal strike. The chamber erupted in chaos, weapons firing, sparks flying, the walls trembling with the clash of power. Daniel ducked behind the hologram pillar, his pulse racing faster than ever. Kara fought like a storm, her betrayal turned into redemption, her blade a blur of steel and fire. But for every enemy she cut down, more poured into the chamber, their red eyes locked on Daniel. The leader stepped closer, ignoring Kara's fury, his gaze fixed only on the human. "You cannot run from this," he growled, his voice shaking with both rage and fear. "The galaxy already knows you are not prey anymore. You are a weapon." Daniel's body trembled, but inside him the voice grew louder, stronger, refusing to let him give in. He raised the device, the glow spreading across his arm. "I am not your weapon," he said, his voice steady at last. "I am human." A burst of light exploded through the chamber, so bright the walls cracked and the hologram shattered. The enforcers staggered, their bodies shaking violently as the wave tore through them. Kiara shielded her eyes, her teeth clenched as the energy surged past her. And in that moment Daniel felt it, his blood burning, his heart pounding like thunder, a hidden power awake at last. When the light faded, silence fell, broken only by the sound of rubble settling. Most of the enforcers lay unmoving, their armor shattered, their bodies twitching in defeat. The leader stumbled back, his red eyes wide with terror. This is why humans must never rise," he hissed, before vanishing into the shadows. Daniel collapsed to his knees, the device falling from his hand. Kara dropped beside him, her voice low and urgent. "You see now, you are not weak, you are not prey. But this power will not stay hidden anymore. The galaxy will come for you." Her words filled the chamber like a warning bell. Daniel lifted his head slowly, his eyes burning not with fear but with something new. For the first time, he was ready to stop running. The chamber was broken, the floor cracked and walls burned from the blast. Daniel knelt in the dust, his chest heaving, his hands shaking from the strange energy that had poured through him. The silver device lay dim beside him, no longer glowing, but the memory of its power still echoed in his blood. Kara stood nearby, her blade red with alien blood, her golden eyes watching him closely. "You felt it, didn't you?" she said softly, her voice more serious than ever. Daniel swallowed hard, nodding slowly. "It was like fire in my veins, like something alive inside me." Kara gave a slow nod. "That is the truth they fear. Your blood, your instinct, your will. It breaks them. It weakens them. It is something no alien can fight." Daniel shook his head, still confused. "But why? Why would my blood do that? I am no one, just a man who made mistakes. I do not deserve this." Kara's jaw tightened, her scars catching the dim light. "Deserve has nothing to do with it, human. You carry what your species always carried, the power to adapt, to endure, to turn death itself into survival. The galaxy erased this truth long ago, but now it is awake again." Before Daniel could answer, the ground trembled as a sharp sound filled the chamber. A holographic broadcast flickered to life in the air, projected by unseen machines hidden in the walls. Daniel's eyes widened. The image showed not just the chamber, but him, on every screen, across every world. A voice echoed, cold and sharp. "Attention to all systems. The human has been exposed. His blood is dangerous. His kind is a threat. All species are ordered to capture or destroy any human who resists." Daniel's stomach dropped, his image now carried through the galaxy like a criminal. Kara's eyes narrowed, her voice a low growl. "It has begun. The Syndicate has spread the truth before you were ready. Now every world will be hunting your kind." Daniel's heart pounded, fear twisting inside him. "No, they will kill us all. Humans cannot fight an entire galaxy." Kara grabbed his shoulder, her grip strong and unshakable. "Do not speak like prey," she snarled. "This is not the end. This is the beginning. Now they will see the truth with their own eyes, and fear will spread faster than their lies." The broadcast shifted, showing riots on alien streets. Some aliens screamed in terror, running at the mere sight of humans. Others marched with weapons, shouting for humanity's extermination. Daniel watched, horrified, as the galaxy fell into chaos, all because of him. His voice broke. "I never wanted this. I never wanted to bring war. I only wanted to live." Kara leaned close, her eyes burning. "Like fire, and yet you have woken something greater than yourself. The galaxy can no longer pretend. They must face what humanity truly is." Suddenly, a sharp whistle echoed through the chamber. Daniel spun around, seeing a group of alien soldiers entering. Not syndicate thugs, but armored military troops. Their leader stepped forward, his uniform marked with symbols of a powerful star empire. His voice rang through the chamber, deep and commanding. Human, by order of the council, you are under arrest. Surrender now, or be destroyed. Daniel's chest tightened, his legs heavy as stone. Kara stood between him and the soldiers, her blade raised high, her voice fierce. If you want him, you will have to kill me first. The alien leader sneered. Then you will die beside him. Daniel's breath shook, his mind screaming for him to run, but something inside refused to move. His eyes locked on the soldiers, dozens of them, weapons glowing with deadly fire. The silver device in his hand pulsed again, faint but alive. He could feel the fire in his blood rising once more, stronger, sharper, more dangerous. Kiara's voice thundered beside him. Remember what I told you, human. You are not weak. You are not prey. Let them see it. Daniel closed his eyes, his fists clenched tight. The fear twisted into rage, into defiance, into something old, something primal. When he opened his eyes again, they burned with a light not of weakness, but of power. The soldiers raised their weapons, the air buzzing with energy, but before they could fire, Daniel stepped forward, his voice steady, his body trembling with hidden force. I will not hide anymore, he said. If the galaxy wants to fear humans, then let them see why. The silver device burst with light once more, brighter than before, filling the chamber with a storm of energy. The soldiers screamed as the wave struck them, their weapons falling, their bodies collapsing one by one. Kara stood strong, shielding her eyes but never stepping back. And in the heart of the storm, Daniel felt his blood awaken fully, a roar of power echoing through every cell of his body. When the light faded, silence returned. The soldiers lay broken, their leader trembling on his knees, eyes wide with terror. He looked up at Daniel, his voice shaking. This is the end. Humanity will burn the stars. Then he fled, leaving his troops behind, his fear louder than his threats. Daniel collapsed to the ground, his chest heaving, the device sparking in his hand. Kara crouched beside him, her voice sharp and steady. You cannot run anymore, Daniel. Your secret is no longer hidden. The galaxy knows, and now you must decide. Are you going to be their prey or their nightmare? Daniel lifted his head, his eyes burning with something new. For the first time, he no longer felt ordinary, no longer weak. He was human, and that was enough to shake the galaxy. The chamber was silent after the storm of light. Alien soldiers lay scattered on the floor, their weapons shattered, their leader gone in fear. Daniel stood weak, his knees trembling, his chest heavy, but his eyes burned with new fire. Kara watched him closely, her face both proud and grim. You see now, she said, the galaxy will not stop. They will come with armies, fleets, and fire. You cannot hide anymore. Daniel sank against the wall, his hands shaking as he looked at the silver device. It was cracked now, sparks flickering across its surface, yet still alive. He whispered, every time I use it, it feels stronger, like it feeds on me, or maybe like it wakes something inside me. Kara's gaze hardened. It does not feed, Daniel. It reveals. The power is not in the device. It is in you, in your blood, in your kind. Her words pressed on him like a weight. Daniel shook his head. But I am not ready. I am just one man. I cannot stand against empires, against fleets. Kara leaned closer, her golden eyes sharp as blades. You will not stand alone. Do you think you are the only human hunted, the only one cornered by their fear? Your kind will rise when they see you rise. They only need a spark. Before Daniel could reply, the ceiling above them shook violently. A booming voice echoed from outside, carried through loudspeakers. This is the voice of the council. The human and his traitor ally are surrounded. Surrender, or we will bring this entire bunker down. Daniel's heart froze. He could hear the hum of engines above, the thunder of heavy ships in the sky. Kara grabbed his arm, pulling him to his feet, her voice sharp. We cannot stay. If they collapse this place, we will be buried alive. They ran through a side tunnel, their steps echoing through the dark stone. Behind them, the chamber crumbled, walls splitting, dust and fire raining down. When they burst out into the open air, Daniel's breath caught in his throat. Above them, the sky burned with ships, dark metal giants hovering like predators. Thousands of alien soldiers lined the ground, their armor gleaming under crimson banners. The entire horizon looked like a war, and all of it aimed at him. Daniel froze, his chest tight, his voice breaking. There are too many, Kara. We cannot fight them all. This is impossible. Kara placed herself in front of him, blade raised, her voice a thunderous growl. Then we do not fight them like soldiers. We fight them like humans, with will, with fire, with the truth they fear. The soldiers began to march forward, weapons glowing, but before they could attack, something unexpected happened. From the crowd of alien soldiers, a few stepped back, trembling, their eyes fixed on Daniel. One dropped his weapon, another fell to his knees. Whispers spread like wildfire through the army. It is true, the human carries it, the old power, the forbidden blood. The commander roared, "Silence! Stand firm!" But the fear had already started. Daniel felt it, the same fear he saw in the eyes of the enforcers. It was not just about weapons or armies. It was something deeper. His very presence broke their will. His humanity was more dangerous than any blade. Daniel stepped forward, his legs trembling but his voice steady. "You hunt me because you are afraid. But your fear is not of me. It is of the truth. You tried to bury it, to erase it. But now the galaxy knows humans are not prey." His words carried over the field, and even those who held their weapons ready faltered, their hands shaking. Kara's golden eyes flashed with pride. "Good, let them hear you," she whispered. But the commander raised his blade high, shouting with rage, "Fear will not save them. Kill the human. Kill them both." The ground shook as the soldiers charged, their war cries shaking the air. Kara tightened her grip on her weapon, standing firm beside Daniel, her voice fierce. "This is it, human. The storm has come. Now you must choose. Will you rise, or will you die as prey?" Daniel's heart pounded. His blood roared like thunder. He could feel the fire again, stronger than ever, racing through his veins. The silver device cracked apart in his hand, shattering into dust. But the power remained, glowing in his chest, his eyes burning with fierce light. He raised his hands as the army closed in. A wave of energy exploded outward, brighter and wider than ever before. The charging soldiers froze mid-stride, their bodies trembling, their weapons falling. The sky itself shook as ships overhead flickered, their engines stalling under the surge. Kara shielded her face, her voice filled with awe. "By the stars! He is no longer just human." Daniel stood in the center of the storm, his voice carrying across the field. "I will not run anymore. I will not hide. I am human, and you will never forget it." When the light faded, thousands of soldiers lay on the ground, stunned but alive. The commander staggered back, his face pale with terror. He pointed at Daniel, shouting to the skies, "This is war. The humans have risen." Then he fled, his voice carrying the promise of endless battle. Daniel fell to his knees, exhausted but alive. Kara caught him before he hit the dirt, her arms steady, her voice fierce. "They will bring fleets. They will bring fire. They will bring everything they have. But you lit the spark, Daniel, and now humanity will burn across the stars." Daniel lifted his head, his voice hoarse but steady. "Then let them come," he whispered, his eyes glowing with defiance. "For the first time, I am not afraid." The battlefield was silent after the storm of power. Thousands of alien soldiers lay stunned, weapons scattered across the dust. Above, the great ship still hung in the sky, engines flickering like dying stars. Daniel stood in the center, his chest heaving, his body trembling, but his eyes burning with defiance. Kara stood beside him, her blade steady, her golden eyes watching the horizon, but the silence did not last. From the sky came a new roar, deeper, heavier, more terrifying than before. Dark shadows spread as fleets descended, massive warships blotting out the sun. Their cannons glowed with fire, their banners stretched across the sky. This was not a hunting party, this was an armada, the full force of the galaxy's wrath. Daniel's knees weakened, his voice cracking. "There are too many, Kara. We cannot face this." Kara's lips curved into a grim smile. "You are wrong, human. We already faced them, and they already fear you. That is why they brought everything. They believe only fire can bury the truth again." Daniel's hand clenched into a fist, the fire in his blood still burning. He knew she was right. The galaxy feared not him alone, but what he represented. If he fell here, humanity would be chained forever. If he stood, even against death, humanity would rise. The first cannon fired. The ground shook with a blast that split the earth. Waves of soldiers poured from the ships, their war cries shaking the skies. The world itself seemed to tremble beneath the storm. Kara lifted her blade, her voice like thunder. This is the moment, Daniel, the moment where prey becomes predator. Daniel closed his eyes, the fear twisting inside him one last time. Then he remembered every moment, the chase, the hiding, the betrayal, the blood, the fire. He remembered Kara's words, her fierce faith, her golden eyes burning with belief. And when he opened his eyes, there was no fear left, only fire. He stepped forward, raising his hands, his voice carrying across the battlefield. You wanted to see what humanity is, now you will see. The fire in his blood erupted, brighter than before. Waves of energy surged outward, shaking the ground, tearing through the armies like a storm. Ships above cracked and broke, their cannons silenced, their lights flickering. The soldiers froze, their bodies trembling as their weapons fell, their eyes wide with terror. The battlefield turned into chaos, not from victory, not from defeat, but from fear. But the galaxy did not surrender so easily. The largest ship split open, and from it descended a figure taller and darker than all others. The High Warlord of the Council, clad in black armor, his presence heavy as a mountain. He landed with a roar, the ground shaking beneath his weight. His eyes glowed like burning coals, his voice deep and merciless. You are a mistake, human, a disease that should never have left its world. I will erase you, and your kind will never rise again. Daniel's breath shook, but he stepped forward, his voice steady. I am not a mistake. I am human, and you will not erase us. The warlord raised his massive blade, dark energy crackling across its edge. Kara moved to block him, but Daniel stopped her, shaking his head. This is mine, he whispered. The warlord struck, the ground splitting under his power. Daniel raised his hands, the fire of his blood meeting the blade. The clash lit. The sky, sparks and energy bursting like stars exploding. For a moment, Daniel's body screamed with pain, the power tearing through him. But he did not fall. He pushed back, every muscle, every breath, every drop of blood burning with defiance. Kara shouted, her voice breaking. Daniel, now show him what you are, Daniel roared. The fire exploding outwards in a storm so bright it blinded the battlefield. The warlord staggered, his armor cracking, his blade shattering into pieces. His voice broke in terror. Impossible, no creature can. Before he could finish, the fire consumed him, and his body fell, broken and defeated. Silence spread once more, but this silence was different. The soldiers who remained dropped to their knees, not in fear, but in surrender. The ships pulled back, their cannons dark, the armada retreating into the endless sky. Daniel stood swaying, his body weak, his breath ragged, but his eyes still burning. Kara rushed to him, catching him before he fell, her voice low and fierce. You did it, human. You showed them. You showed the galaxy why your kind can never be broken. Daniel looked at her, his voice hoarse but steady. I was just one man running from debt, and now... Kara smiled. Now you are the beginning of something greater. Now you are the spark that will set humanity free. Daniel turned his eyes to the horizon where the retreating fleets faded into the stars. His voice carried softly, but with power. We will not run again. We will not hide. We are human, and the galaxy will never forget it.